Hi, this is Mark Smith with Family Tree Counseling Associates, and I'm going to share a little poetry with you today. My favorite poet is a poet named David Whyte, and many of you are familiar with him, but probably his most famous poem is called Sweet Darkness. And I'm going to read the poem through one time, and then I'm going to go back and just share what it brought up for me. It's from The House of Belonging, copyright 1996, Many Rivers Press. When your eyes are tired, the world is tired also. When your vision has gone, no part of the world can find you. Time to go into the dark, where the night has eyes to recognize its own. There you can be sure you're not beyond love. The dark will be your womb tonight. The night will give you a horizon further than you can see. You must learn one thing. You must learn one thing. The world was made to be free in. Give up all the other worlds except the one to which you belong. Sometimes it takes darkness and the sweet confinement of your aloneness to learn that anything or anyone that does not bring you alive is too small for you. I read this poem last night. I had my daughters over for dinner. They were home from Indiana University, had a lovely dinner, good conversation, but then they left, and it was 9 o'clock, and I was sitting in a dark house all alone, very, very, very tired. When you're going through healing from post-traumatic stress, it's very tiresome, it's very tiring. I was exhausted, and I was lonely, and I felt empty. And I read, when your eyes are tired, the world is tired also. And so everything looked pretty tired and pretty gloomy to me at that time. When your vision has gone, no part of the world can find you. And I don't think the poet meant your vision to be able to see. I think he meant your vision for your life. And when you go through loss, and you go through a loss of a relationship, you lose your vision. Because everything in your life was built for that relationship and for that purpose. And especially if you go through darkness, if you go through sadness, if you go through depression, you're not the same person that you were before. So it causes you to temporarily lose your vision. It causes you to be searching for a new vision, and a new vision is required. So when your vision has gone, no part of the world can find you. So yeah, I was feeling empty. I was grieving. I was feeling broken. I was feeling the physical effects of depression. I share this because the feedback that I've gotten from so many people is that when I'm real and when I'm authentic and when I show my heart, it touches people and it helps people. I'm not whining. I'm not trying to do my therapy online. I'm sharing my journey with you so that it might help people who also have gone through loss, who also grieve, who also are sad and perhaps have lost vision and whose eyes are tired. Time to go into the dark where the night has eyes to recognize its own. There you can be sure that you are not beyond love. When a relationship ends, and it really wasn't necessarily your choice for that relationship to end, you sort of feel like you're beyond love. You feel sort of unlovable, not terribly attractive. I know there's a lot of folks out there who relate to what I'm talking about. But when you go through a shattering, a brokenness of your defenses, what the universe is trying to do actually is to develop a new person, a better person, an improved person, a deeper person. So as I read the poem and I felt my loneliness and I was in the darkness, I wasn't lonely anymore because I was reminded about this new person that is developing within me, that has a new energy and a new vision. Recovery from both counterdependency and codependency is all about the development of a new person. It's about re-engineering your personality from the ground up. I'm parched. I'm going to drink water. I don't know if this is good YouTube etiquette or not, but I'm thirsty. So there. For a counterdependent, life conspires, relationship conspires to break them, to tear down defense mechanisms, to tear down denial, to tear down narcissism, to tear down illusions of grandeur. And underneath Superman is a sad, wounded, needy little boy or a sad, wounded, needy little girl. And that comes as a shock sometimes to people who've always been strong and in control and very successful. But it's necessary to heal the wounds underneath, and it's also necessary if you're going to just be healthier in relationships. I had a meeting with several people, several men from my practice on Friday night, and I saw them with new eyes. I saw them not with counter-dependent eyes, but I saw them with interdependent eyes, where I was connecting with them as an equal and as a partner and as a friend and as a human being rather than as the boss and as the counter-dependent. For a codependent, recovery works differently. It's about getting stronger. It's about lifting weight psychologically and becoming a different person in that you're more assertive, you're more authentic, I don't know if I said this, but the title of my video today is Finding Your Authentic Self in Darkness. Finding your authentic self in darkness and depression is really what I'm talking about in painful, difficult times. So a codependent is feeling healthy anger, learning how to set healthy boundaries, and redefining their lives and having a new self emerge. In my office, I have a mobile, and it has like 3 generations of people and a cat and a dog on a mobile. And to make a point about how people are in systems, I whack, one of the people on the mobile and everything begins to shake. So if a codependent person redefines themselves, it shakes up everybody in their lives. If a counterdependent person gets into solid recovery, then they have to re-engineer the structure of their lives to have it fit what's going on in their heart. So if life has broken you and you've been through darkness and you've been through sadness, know that whether you call it God or the universe or Mother Nature, I like to call it God, you become more relational. You become more aware of others. You certainly are humbled. And you have an opportunity to become more spiritual. Back to the poem. The dark will be your womb tonight. Healthy people are birthed in darkness. Healthy people go through the womb of the dark in order to grow and develop into who they can become. The night will give you a horizon further than you can see. So in your darkness and in your sadness, you can find your new vision. You can think about the possibilities of your new life. And you can have vision into a horizon farther than you can see. You must learn one thing. When David Whyte reads this, he repeats it like 10 times dramatically. You must learn one thing. And he said, when the words came to him, he didn't know what the one thing was. He was just sort of channeling his creativity. You must learn one thing, and that is the world is made to be free in. I work with so many couples that are in relationships that are so not free. And obviously, I understand we pick the right person, and relationships are God's way of healing us. But many times people are stuck in relationships because they lack the courage or they lack feeling the pain to move on if it just simply cannot be fixed and it simply is not working. I believe I was stuck and bound in a relationship that didn't work for either party because I had this needy little infant inside that was clinging on. The poet says, give up all the other worlds except the one to which you belong. Which world do you really belong to? What happened in my life is my fiance realized she was in the wrong world and she had to go find the right world. Came as a bit of a shock to me, but reality is good. You know, we try to hide ourselves from too much truth, because the truth sometimes is really harsh. But one of the things that was written to me by my former fiance is, I cannot be whoever it is that you need me to be. So in order for you to give up other worlds except the one to which you belong, you really need to be in touch with your sense of self. You got to know who you are to know where you belong. You have to fit in a world that is defined by your gut, by your spirit, by your heart and soul. Sometimes it takes darkness and the sweet confinement of your aloneness to learn that anything or anyone that does not bring you alive is too small for you. One of my associates, Steve, in talking with me about loss, he said, things end. People die. People get divorced. Children grow up, unfortunately, and they go to college. I'm looking at a wall with 1 million pictures of my children. There's my little son at 1 year old rolling in the leaves. There's my son and 2 daughters walking on the beach when they were, 3, 5, and 8. There they are on the first cruise we took them on. There's a picture of me holding my youngest daughter, on my shoulders. There's a picture of the kids all taking a bath together. And now they're adults, and my daughters are in college. My middle daughter's almost done. My son is a grown man and living in San Francisco. And when they left my house last night, I was just sad. It was like I wanted them to come back and stay and watch a movie and not have to do homework and not have to go to bed and, be my family the way they were before. But relationships end. Someone asked me one time what my success rate as a marriage counselor was. And I shared with them in a couple of nice words that it was a really stupid question, because my job as a therapist is to help you engage with things that are true, to help you understand, as the poet says, what is your world? Give up all the other worlds except the one that you belong to. And sometimes you find out that you don't maybe belong in the job that you're currently in. Sometimes you find out that your marriage is over. Sometimes you find out that your partner has left and is with somebody else. Sometimes you find out that you have cancer and you're going to die. Sometimes you find out that somebody you love has passed away. So I told this fellow, my success rate is 100%. If people come in and tell me the truth, I empathically but courageously and boldly and articulately tell them what I see, and usually come up with a good chunk of truth. Whether they're ready to chew on that or not is up to their readiness of their defenses. Many times in my life, I have not been up to chewing on the particular truth that's staring me in the face. Another truth about life is we get older. I'm looking at the camera and there's some old guy with a white beard looking at me. Can't be me. I don't feel old. Well, let me take that back. When you're going through healing post-traumatic stress and depression, you actually do feel old. But for many years, I felt like a 56-year-old body was inhabited by a 32-year-old guy. But you get old, and that changes you. It can change you in good ways and make you wiser. It can change you in ways that aren't quite as fun. The only thing about life that never changes is that there's always change to be dealt with. So the question or the powerful statement that the poet shares is, anything or anyone that does not bring you alive is too small for you. So what brings you alive? Does your marriage bring you alive? Is your partner able and ready to do the work to bring resurrection to the power of that aliveness? Are you? If you're both ready and able to do the work, then do the work and put your finger on the pulse of that aliveness and walk on the beach together when you're 75 years old. You need to find out what stokes your fire, what makes you happy, what brings you alive. You might need to change careers. You might be done being a computer programmer. You might need to go make chairs. You might be done being a therapist. You might need to go write books. In my blog this week, I share a story about a new client of mine from Los Angeles who was a former professional boxing champion. And when I met him, he was like a puppy dog. He was so filled with humility and joy and enthusiasm and brokenness and teachability. He was just, teach me. Mark, when I watch your videos, I feel your heart. I feel your sincerity. I know that you can help me. And you know what? That's something that made me come alive. Having somebody be reached by these videos. And if there's other people out there that are reached, let me know. Don't assume that I know, because you know, when I'm going through this dark time, I assume I'm talking to not too many people out there, and I'm not making much of a dent. So if this talks to you, and if it helps you get through your grief, and if it helps you figure out what makes you free, drop me a line, make a reply on the YouTube video. I'm not a very great basketball player these days. I never really was. But I did get to play basketball this week. We had a team on paper that didn't look to win any games, but we won 3 in a row. I can't say I had a lot to do with it, but I made a few plays, and it made me happy. It wasn't very impressive. I'm playing in sort of a fragile state emotionally, but it made me come alive a little bit. When I came in to write the blog today about my boxer Ricky and about the sweet science of a broken heart, it gave me joy. The day hadn't gone the way I wanted to. I didn't sleep well last night. I hadn't accomplished much today. But sitting and writing gave me joy, and it made me come alive. What makes you come alive? Is it hitting a tennis ball? Is it riding a motorcycle? Is it a relationship that you can pursue? Is it a friendship? I have this friend who went through a horrible divorce and went through probably even more pain than I went through. And She's a soldier, and she's a tough gal. And she was alone, and she went and joined these meetup groups, and she took up hiking. And it developed into such an interest, she's hiked the entire Appalachian Trail with her son. I think she's been gone since April, and she's not going to be done till next month. Isn't that something? Hiking is something that made her free, and it made her come alive. And it makes life worth living. It makes it fun to get out of bed. So what are the things that are stifling your spirit? What are the things that are killing your spirit? If you're in a relationship that sucks, fix it. Don't live decade after decade and year after year in a relationship that's dead, where you're not alive and you're not making love and you're not with your best friend. Get in and find out the truth about who you are and where you belong, and do the work. So thank you to the brilliance of David Whyte and his amazing poem, Sweet Darkness. The place where you find your authentic self isn't at a party. It's not at the circus. It's not at the movies. You find your authentic self grappling alone in the darkness. I wish it wasn't so, but it is. Thank you for watching the video today. Join our YouTube channel, Family Tree Counseling, on YouTube. And I have 6 books that you can download from familytreecounseling.com. I pray for you to find what sets you free, what makes you happy, the thing that makes you alive, that gives you joy. That's my prayer for you. Thank you for watching, and God bless.